Hey guys, what's up? Chris here with another Trading Vault episode, and today we've got Shaquille on the podcast, and I just want to welcome Shaquille to the podcast. I'm going to give him an opportunity to introduce himself to you guys, and then we're going to kick it off. Shaquille, floor is yours. Quick introduction on yourself, and then we're going to get right into it.
Okay. Hey Chris, how do you bless, man? So guys, I go by the name Shaquille, but Shaquel Samaai. Also known people who call me Dr. Samaai, because of the philosophies I have about life, and that helped me to do trading. And I'm 22 years old, originally from Johannesburg, but living in Cape Town. Yeah, in the Cape Flats. I grew up in Cape Flats, so yeah, made it out the Cape Flats, and here we are today. Yeah.
Sweet, man. So in Cape Town.
Yeah, I actually grew up in Mentorship, man. Like in Mentorship, in the Cape Flats, they call it the Sevens. So I lived in Ingakot, and yeah, so when growing up there is a different ball game.
Awesome, man.
It's a different ball game. Yeah.
Shaquille, obviously, what the guys always want to know is how are consistently profitable traders trading. Where did it start for you? I think let's start at the beginning, where you got introduced into Forex. At what age did you start? Let's maybe start there. When did you start getting into the markets?
It's a good one. I would say, you know what they call it? I would say it starts by first entrepreneurship. I think it started that's where, like, the whole thing of the entrepreneur mindset, So those who live in Cape Town will know something called a gachi, right? So the person who the door operator
opens the taxi.
So I saw a lot of money this guy holds in his bag, right? He's travel taxi. So I was like, wow, no, grab be the gachi. No, be entrepreneur. So like rather be entrepreneur, So from growing up from young, they tell me, be entrepreneur, man. However, it comes as far as food, I know about stocks. I got introduced into stocks by simply dabbling into the entrepreneurship world. And I know the different sectors, and I think that's, simple things, starting YouTube, trying to find a mentor and that. So, and because where I grew up, no one talks about stocks. Remember, no one talks about buying stocks, investing into properties at my age. No one talk, that time when I got introduced to it. So I would say I got introduced to the investing world at, I would say 16, 17, around that age. But the entrepreneurship was before. So trading started when I was 18 exactly, to start saying I'm trading. I started trading, 18, and I'm 22 now,
Sweet. And did anybody mentor you, or how did you get about yourself, learning the technicals and the fundamentals?
That's a good one. I think it's a good thing that you should build up this. If you think about it, like, what is mentoring? That's my first thing, because I think over today, a lot of mentoring is overlooked and overrated these days. So there's something that people do now, is online courses, right? And then they call that mentoring. So I can't say I got mentored. I did an online course. But not sat down and mentored or coached. A mentor.
I agree 100. I agree 100% with you. And that's also where I've told guys that if you're gonna say you're selling a mentorship is actually one-on-one interaction with a student, where you actually hand in hand taking the guy by the hand, going through everything that you're doing, and basically implementing, or it's a transfer of knowledge directly into that person. So there are very few real mentorships out there. And also, if I would suggest, and maybe this is just a suggestion to guys that maybe want to mentor, become mentors, is maybe hike your price and not make it a numbers game, and maybe ask a premium.
I think that is so. I think that's key. That's key.
Ask a higher price and take less people in, but provide more quality, value, quantity, and value.
Yeah, I think what's happening in the world with Forex right now is simply traders are trying to push the numbers game. And yet, if you look at the Forex market, and that's why it takes me back to why I never charge people for my services. I did basically I've built a community that's currently now with 13,000 people for free. I don't charge. I have free webinars. I have everything for free because there's, yes, it's another business. And I'm an entrepreneur. It's, you know what, we're entrepreneurs. You can't be closed-minded. And I think that's the thing that people think that trading is the only way. Understand, if you are profitable there, you can have another business, but it's just the way you do it. Like you said, running the numbers, not about running the numbers up, getting a lot of small price for a lot of people. And they end up not giving the quality, So for me, it's that I told myself, I have the skill. Why not actually give back to the community and build a free community and teach everyone for free? Because I can still make my money, but I can just teach people. It's a skill I can share. Hey guys, this is what I do. However, right now, what's happening? That's why I go back to your questions. Like, I haven't got mentored by someone, but I had a life coach. I had a life coach which helped me through my journey, and a life coach helped me to stay focused on my goals. But mentor, I never had a mentor. And I think everyone wants to say like self-made. I'm not self-made. It's just that books are my friends. I actually have books here right next to me right now. Books are my friends. And these are my mentors. And then a very important thing is my Bible, So books, Bibles were my mentors.
What Bible is it?
Does it really matter what Bible? Yeah, I found it. I found it's something. It's a Joe Witness Bible, but it's not the fact of that. Is this Bible right here?
Okay.
Right? So I'm not attending the church, but it's just simple to understand. I read the Bible, it's simple to understand, it's simplified. So and that takes me back to like the mentorship. I didn't get mentored by someone, but I did do online courses, if I should say that. Yeah.
What online courses did you do?
I was blessed, actually. I was blessed. Shout out to Mr. Fester, Clint Fester. Did a lot for me. In 2019, I have a laptop, actually, right? In 2019, I was trading on a laptop. Didn't have funds. I had to, so like a lot of things happened. I made like money when I was studying and trading, right? I made like 170 Rand to 3,000 in a week. And having no knowledge, so I was like euphoric about success in trading. You know how euphoric a person becomes after 1-2 meetings. You think you know everything. So I became very euphoric about it. I know how to trade, man. And I blew the money. And the funny part is that I always tell this people's story. Where I lived, right? I lived close to a train station. So I walked down in the morning going to college with 3,000 in my train account. Very happy. As little that time when you start training, my first year, it's a lot of money from where I come from to make that from -70 Rand. So walking down, I'm very excited. I went down and very arrogant I was. I sat in the lecturer's class and I said, I looked back to the student and I said, you know what I'm doing? And she's like, what are you doing? She was laughing at me. She's like, what are you doing? I said, can you see here? I'm making the money of the lecturer in this class right now. I need to leave this class. And I've got so arrogant it became because I'm feeling so euphoric about trading, I make 3,000 from -70 Rand. So I walked out, not telling my mom I've dropped out. So that day I dropped out of college because I made 3,000. I don't know what I was thinking. Walked out. As I walked down the same road where I was happy, I was crying because I blew the whole count on my way to home when I dropped out. So I was trained, at that time I said I was trained stocks. So I was trained Walmart. I will never forget Walmart. I lost all my money. I came back, I was sitting in the home. How do I go back and tell him I lost all my money? As little as I don't know what I was thinking. So the mentor that I'll say the trader helped me, and the course I did really pay for it because I grew my accounts. I helped to grow account. I grew my accounts up from small values from 100 Rand to 2,000, 3,000 to 10,000, from 10,000 to 20,000. So I had this skill from growing small accounts, and I would document them, on YouTube. And that took me across where I came to Clint's live, and he saw like my room was full of affirmations, of visualization, like my affirmations. And I showed him, and my laptop that I was training on didn't work. The screen was blank. So there's no screen, simply a black screen. So I used to sit with a phone, the flash, like this on the phone, because I didn't have money to fix the laptop. So I'll sit like this with the laptop and try to see where's the candles on the chart because it's a black screen. And the sound is like, I still have it because I need to keep it for memories, So if I put on the laptop, it's black and it goes, so I had to play like that. And then he saw it and it's like, you know what, man? I love the dedication. I love the because I have a 5-year plan, my 10-year plan. I have everything down, my visual, everything I have down, my goals, and I live by daily routine, So I showed him it, and he's like, I really like where you are at that time. So what happens is like, you know what? Do you have a course? I said, no. Do you want a laptop? I said, no, I don't want a laptop. I've been trading. I made profits on this laptop. I want education. Can you give me education, please? You know. And he's like, are you sure? He's like, no, you're really sure. So Mr. Clinton's like, are you sure you want a laptop over education over laptop? I'm like, no, look here. I made money on this laptop before. I can do it again. If you give me your knowledge, I'm sure I can make more money and buy a new laptop. Guess what? With that, what he gave me, I've bought probably like in this time, I bought really, funny fact, I'll show you right now. I just bought a new laptop again. I just bought a new laptop again from that knowledge. So I would say it's like, I bought like in this month, I bought like, and that's the time to say, it's like, it's not about the thing I bought, it's the fact that at that time I just wanted the knowledge. So he gave me the knowledge, and guess what? God blessed him, blessed his heart, and he's like, I didn't know. I think he got in contact with my mom and told him, I'm sending a laptop through to him. So he sent me a laptop, gave me scores, which at that time was equivalent to 10,000. And I could not be as much, grateful. And I always encouraged him, like, even though he didn't sit down, but he gave me the key to the market, some stuff that played part of me. And I did do another course, which I don't want to mention that person. I wouldn't mention the person's name because the person didn't add much value to me, but in my training career. But I did a course which was like,
Is it a local guy?
Yeah. And also it's like YouTube stuff. Everything on YouTube, it's just like, here you go, bang, bang, bang. 1,000 rand course. The 1,000 rand courses, that type of thing. So at that time, you just want to get any value, but I'll always give back, even though I don't trade like Mr. Clint.
Look, we don't have to, and this is something that you talk about life coach and talk about philosophies, and I think this is something that will maybe offend some people, but you should call a spade. And unfortunately, we're living in an era where people get so easily offended because of their own insecurities and because of their own lack. So let's say, for instance, Shaquille is disciplined, he is focused, he wakes up every day at the same time, he's got his routine.
Yeah.
And somebody else will then get offended by that because they don't have the discipline, they don't have the structure in their life. He is doing something that they are not doing. And sometimes in life, we need to call things out. And I'm not saying this podcast is to call anyone out.
No.
But in terms of value, and especially men, because this for the most part, it is men that is in this industry. And if we are going to create strong communities and strong families and a stronger South Africa, men really need to be accountable for what you put out to the community, especially with trading, because sometimes I think guys fail to realize that you can post something and you can blow a 5,000 rand, but there's someone on the other side that's maybe his last 5,000.
I think you just touched on something like that there, Chris. I would like to just speak on that. I'm sorry to get you there.
No.
This is where that's the turning point for me. So I understand when you live with your mom, right? You don't pay bills. I understand, like I always see like you get big boy things, and this is for the boys. I'm some of the men most likely, right? Because there's female traders right now, but like you see, majority of people are men. And back to ego. You speak about ego, and in trading, it's the thing with trading is that, are you scared you're losing the money or are you scared of being wrong, right? So there's an ego between this. You understand, either have an ego that you don't want to be wrong, or you're scared of losing the money. So there's the two things there, right? One of the two. So a lot of men has the ego, and if you strip away the ego, it makes it easy to trade, right? Because now it's just like it's right or wrong, finish. I don't care if I'm right. I need to be right. But I want to go back to my mom. So when I was living with my mom, I moved out when I started making profits. Now, right? I started making profits. I moved in my first. I was 2 years ago. I was 18.
Yeah.
19. I moved to my mom's house. Now I'm renting my first house, man. Like how you feel? Like you feel good, man. Trading is doing the things, and I'm like, I was that meant to say, I'm not charging mentees anything. So now I'm like, I'm not charging. I can't, because you can't say I'm making money with my mentees. I'm making money with training, because I'm not charging anyone. So now I can't say I'm selling signals. I'm selling a course. I'm like, no, I'm trading. You come sit free with me and trade with me. That's it. So I was like, I had this ego building up slowly, gradually, as a young boy, out Cape Flats, making it. And that's where I got humbled. Like you said, the 5,000 might mean nothing to you, but means something to someone else. I think when I lost when as the big boy builds the adult stuff, you grow up, you need to learn about finance, managing your money correctly, because trading doesn't mean every month is a good month. It's a business. There's profits and expenses, and I always see my losses as an expense instead of a loss.
I put it almost as farming. There's seasons. There's seasons where you reap, and there's seasons where you sow. Like I've told guys, trading is very similar to farming. Like farmers don't make money every single month. There's months where they put in work, and then after the harvest, that's when they make their money. And I'm not saying as traders you should be sowing every 3-4 months, but it's a seasonal thing, because it's linked to the markets. And if you think about it, there are times when the markets are ranging, and that is where you can say the seed is basically self-development, going back on your strategy, you're refining things. And then once the volatility and the volume comes back in the market, then that time where you maybe sat on your hands, where you were disciplined, now all of a sudden gives you the opportunity to execute when the movement is there. So, and that falls in line with the discipline, where some guys think they should trade every day. They do not have the discipline to sit on their hands if there's not a setup. And if you need to start, I always say this, if I need to start getting creative with my charts and start to put in like second references in terms of
that's where you go wrong. That's where you start.
That is where you start getting killed. But if you've got a trading plan, and to this day, I think even some of these mentors that are selling a lot of this stuff don't even have a trading plan. Because if you've got a trading plan and you've got a clear-cut set of rules and a system-based strategy, then irrespective of what you're feeling or what you're seeing, if the boxes are ticked, you execute. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about you've backtested your system. Your system has shown you a profitability, let's say, even if it's 70%. So why would you then go back on that data and all of a sudden be like, but what if here, what if that? You execute and you stick to your plan. It's as simple as that.
And that takes us back to like what I was saying, the ego. Like if you have the ego, you cannot take a loss, because you need to be. It's like, I'm not scared of losing money, but the ego is there, so I need to be right.
No,
because I need to be right. And that's a lot of people, what they go through is that. So I take back to say this is a system. You see, so I always I preach this. I'm actually writing a book right now. God willing, God gives strength, I'll be publishing the book end of the year. So I've been writing this book, and it speaks about the 5 elements that I always mention. The 5 elements is spiritual, number 2, psychological, number 3, emotional, and then 4, physical, and then number 5, financial. So the 5 elements that makes a person successful. I came across this through my journey, and I thought that these 5 elements, if I can ace this and have a balance in all of them, I can really become a successful trader for any industry, And it takes away the ego, it takes away the low self-esteem, all these things that kind of like stops a trader from becoming a profitable trader, in the discipline. So I want to say something about the system. And you said, this 5 elements help me to get that system. So what is a system? Is when you have a system, you have a systematic approach towards the market, which allows you to read market data for what it is, not according to what you feel. So when you start reading the market data for what you, according to market data, what it is and what you feel, it removes the ego, it removes the emotions. And it's easy to say this, but when there's no system, it's hard. But once you have a system, it makes it simplified. And understand that we are human beings that have this personality, and personality comes from over time, from habits that you've done over a period of time, becomes your personality. And that will become your reality. So if you get to understand that in trading, and I don't think people understand that trading is a lifestyle, it's a lifestyle.
Sorry, before I forget, I just want to add to that. This is where traders struggle, is that they, in terms of consistency, and I always speak, even on the previous podcast, we spoke about consistency, is that traders can make profit, but they cannot recreate the same scenario, the same system on how they made profit. So the 1 week they're trading X, Y, and Z strategy of this and that, And then the 1 week, that strategy potentially doesn't work in terms of there's not actually a setup. So now you try and force to fit that strategy. You try and draw your lines how you want to on the market, and it doesn't work. Then you flip over again. So all of a sudden, you don't have consistency in recreating or re-seeing the same setups play out, because ultimately the market is just fractal in nature. The same setups happen every single week, every single month. The flow is the same. It's basically just in terms of price sensitivity and time sensitivity. Sometimes the movement will be larger in terms of volatility, and sometimes it will play out quicker in terms of time sensitivities. But in the most case, the same structures apply on every single time frame.
Like back to that book where I've read, which I'll give praise to as well, is Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone, speaks about the cycle of doom the traders go through.
He also speaks about the ego that you mentioned of being right.
Yes,
I've listened to the audio book. Awesome book.
It's amazing. I would recommend any other traders to go read that book on update psychology. So I read this book in the beginning of my trading. So already when I blew my accounts and when you start losing money, that's when you start, hey, what's happening? You get to feel the skin is in the market. So when you scratch, you feel it,
Yeah.
So when there's no skin in the market and you trade demo, you don't feel any scratch. You're like, I can go again, But as soon as you put money in the market, there's skin in the market. So when you scratch, you feel, this is so, man. Then you go back, what do you do? Some people have thick skin. They scratch, they don't learn, they go again. And that just shows us, the personalities also play a big part to the trading styles. And I will say this because I had a webinar with some people this morning, and I spoke about it. Your personality, and you said people don't know when to, like, the market's trading is ranging. They don't know when to sit on their hands. And if you look at trading itself, like you just said, it's like 80% you're waiting. Like this thing of 80% psychology, 80% you're waiting. You're waiting for your setup to come, right? And if you think about it, in that time, a lot of traders lose the patience to actually, wait for that setup to occur. So what happens? That's when the cycle comes in. Boom.
Yeah, it's that retail cycle of now you start over trading, you don't follow your plan. Now you lose the trade. Now when the actual setup comes, you don't have the confidence. Either you blew your account or now you're scared. The setup you were waiting for comes around. Then what you do is you see that setup play out right in front of your eyes. You're sitting here, that setup plays out. Now what then happens is you've got FOMO. Now you jump in late. Now you get smashed.
Yeah.
Now that cycle just repeats itself over
and over. The cycle of doom. over. And that's the thing. Like people ask me, like, okay, so look, I'm up on today people love Nasdaq and US30. So I'm up on Nasdaq. Should I go to US30 now? Wait. Let's go. Let's take it back. Understand how much data do you have on Nasdaq to say that you're not profitable on Nasdaq with the particular strategy. And that's the thing, is that you see like how people tweak the strategy every time. They'll add an indicator. Now the indicator out, then they add now this price action. Now they add fundamentals on, then they think of and then they start saying, no, wait, I'm gonna change the market now. Okay, maybe I must change my time. I had a talk with online with the webinar we had this morning, and they said, you know what? I asked them, what time do you trade? What time do you clock into work? They're like, no, from London session, I start trading till Asian session. What? From London Asian. Now my thing is like, okay, so if you look at any consistently profitable trader, they have a working time they clock in, and it's a session. So I myself, like, I'm a USD trader, right? I trade the New York Stock Exchange. So that New York section, I'm clocking into work. So when I come into work, I clock in 3 o'clock. I'm clocking in, and I work that session. And outside that session, I'm not trading. So a lot of people, they call it like a theater. You start touching that out of the session. You start on the chart. Okay, maybe I can get a session, a trade now, running session. That's where they're going against the discipline. The thing of not being the FOMO of missing out the trade. Like, there's money to be made. And someone actually said this morning, well, there's money to be made on the market. I understand there's money always to be made on the market, but is it according to your strategy, is it according to your opportunities? I'm offering you opportunities.
Let's also put it this way. I've discussed this with some traders as well. So if if you, let's say, for instance, like you mentioned, you trade the US session and you come, say, 3 o'clock and you look at London and you're like, yo, look at that 200 pip move. I missed it. And it's like, but dude, you didn't miss anything because your trading plan and your trading schedule is not trading London. So you didn't miss anything. If you didn't come and look at the charts, you wouldn't have even seen that move happen. The trade is missed if you sat during London and you saw your setup play out in front of you and it was your plan to take it and you didn't take it. That is a missed trade. But guys see these big moves and they go back and like, yo, if I was awake London time, or
but you know what, man?
if I was in front of the charts.
That makes a difference. I think that because like I've started trading with few people and like I'm not trading, I'm not a veteran, I'm still new in the market, you know. I'm only since like what 2018 trading now, you know, so I'm still new to the market. I can't say, and every day we always just student the market. I'm always learning something. Till today I always learn. Today, you know, I learned something new. So today I learned something new. How to look at my trading as I wrote it down. You know, I wrote in my journal here, the harvest, farming and harvesting. That's something new. I learned how to look at my training, and it helps me psychologically. But I wanted to say something. A lot of people, when I started with trading, right, they will, and this is the difference. I see a consistent trader, consistent profit trader, and a profitable trader. Then you have a loser trader. So you have a losing trader, you have a profitable trader, and a consistent profitable trader. I wanted to know what could take me from a losing trader to consistent profitable. Because what happened is I would make money. Like I don't know. I work so nicely, to take I used to grow 100 Rand accounts. I was like known for 100 Rand accounts. Growing a 100 Rand account, I take it to 1,000. From 1,000, I think to 5,000. For 5,000, I take it to 20,000. And in these stages, once I start seeing that bigger numbers, psychologically, my roots go boom out the roof. I was now consistently profitable, following the rules. My system, you can say, because I call it a system. It's my system. Regardless of the wins or losses, I'm going to follow the system, you know, because it shows me backdated, it was profitable. So now when I reach a certain level, psychologically, this numbers is bigger, I get greedy, boom, out. That takes me back to what just a profitable trader. Now I'm profitable, now I'm losing. Consistent profitable trader, this person, regardless of the wins and losses, he follows the system. You know, that person is profitable regardless of what, through wins and losses, you know. But there's a trader that makes money, lose everything. Makes money, lose everything. You see, there's some people can double account very quick, fast. And what happens as soon as they get to the rich level, they blow the whole money away, gone. No withdrawals. And that's just a person you can be profitable, but you need to take it from profitable to consistent profitable. That's just going to take you to risk management, following the discipline, the rules, you know. That we need to, at the end of the day, personality. Is that your personality? If you don't have that, like, I always talk about personality because where I grew up, no one knows these things. You can speak to, I can call someone on the corner and say, bro, do you know, being disciplined, you know, having a daily routine is important, waking up this time, meditating, doing affirmations, breathing technique, praying will help you. Praying like, what are you talking, my guy? You know, that's not man, because where I come from, that's not doing man things. Man things is selling drugs. You're doing those type of things, man things. Yeah. So where I come, I have to learn my personality. I have to acquire certain habits to change my personality, become a better person, become a better version of myself. And that way, it's in a help and trading because it's just a state of mind, man. It's a state of mind that people need to acquire, you know. And you can acquire that state of mind, the discipline. It's you know, if you look at, I actually did some research. I don't even know hedge fund traders or bank, you know, the traders of hedge funds. If you look at them, they're not that profitable. But like I'm a win rate, right? They can take 5 losses, 6 losses in a row. But as soon as they start winning, they start winning. If the risk reward is so much bigger, you know. The win rate might not be as great as everyone wants to be, you know, 100 out of 100. But even it's 30 out of 100 for them with a good risk to ratio, they're still winning. And that just tells us that you don't need to be a 100% profitable trader, but it just requires a system.
Yeah.
And discipline.
Correct. As you mentioned, discipline, unfortunately, is something that lacks just in general in society. And we can see it all across the world. And the thing with discipline, discipline is directly correlated to repetition. And the only way that you build discipline is repeating the same thing over and over in terms of, even if it is like you mentioned, meditating, waking up at a certain time, eating at a certain time, sticking to, say, a healthy diet. Everything connected to discipline is repetition. And the problem is that people don't like doing repetitive things because it goes against the grain of a human being, because ultimately we want to be comfortable. And anything that requires discipline is sometimes, or a lot of the times, it's an uncomfortable scenario. Waking up at a certain time. Maybe you had some bad sleep. Maybe you're in a bad state of mind in the morning. It's like, I'm not going to meditate, or I'm not going to go to gym. But now you force yourself to go and repeat it. And then after a while, then it starts to be ingrained in you as a person. You as Shaquille or whoever, that discipline is ingrained in you, and it basically follows through in everything else you do. It's almost like Jordan B. Peterson mentioned. He was in the States. I don't know if you follow him. He's also a psychologist, Jordan Peterson. So he was talking to students in the US, and they were talking about a lot of liberal things and things that were quite sensitive at the time. And the one chick jumped up and she tried to attack him, and he stopped her right there. And he just asked her, he's like, if I go into your college dorm now, is your room clean? Is your bed made up? If I take this entire class, will we be shot? And she's like, no, it's dirty and there's laundry on the floor. And he's like, you want to try and liberate the world and try and get involved here in real world things, but you can't even make up your bed.
Oh my gosh.
And right there, and I've told a lot of people as well, I said, if I'm going to look at your car, how you dress, how you basically come across, is your hair cut neatly, your nails, all of that basically already tells me you as a person. So if your room is always cluttered, your car's always dirty, your hair is in a mess, you don't look the part, like how is your trading going to be any different? It's not going to be different.
I actually learned something this from another person. He said that, you look at people, humans in general. Our moms make the rules for us, right? Our dads make the rules for us. Our parents make the rules, we break them, right? So school makes rules, we break the rules of the school. The government makes the rules, we break the government rules. We say the robot must stop, people still jump the robot, right? When they rape. Now come and tell you what, we need to stop making your own rules in trading. How much discipline do you need now? Because over the years, you used to be breaking things like nobody's really trying to do that system. So it's normal, it's normal. So, I mean, how much respect do you need? And I think about my journal, I actually have my journal on the laptop, right? Also, as well, I do have physical, but also I have a laptop. It says on top, respect yourself enough to follow your rules.
Sure.
So I would love to show you it. On top, it says that, and every time when I look at it, I'm like, yo, like.
I actually on my trading view chart, I literally have there's about 9 rules or 9 steps that I literally keep on my chart. Like every chart I open, in the top right corner, I can see all of my rules there. And basically it's that visual thing of imprinting it. So I actually write it down there, because even me that has been trading the financial markets since 2015, I know that I'm still human. I still fall in the trap of the human psychology. I'm still emotional as a human being, irrespective of the time that I've spent in the markets. I am still a human being. And how do I curb that, or how do I make sure that I do not fall into that trap? I've got notes, exactly like you mentioned. I've got my goals on sticky notes on the fridge. I've got it on like my short-term goals are on the fridge. It's next to my bed. It's when I open up my cupboard. It's in the bathroom.
I think have you read a book? Have you read a book named it's actually right now, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
I have Richard. The one that I've read, and maybe you can also go and look at, is the faith of the magic of believing.
Oh
And
my gosh, it's actually one on my radar. I need to do.
so I read
Yes,
that book, and basically, what's his name? Tony Robbins. I watch a lot of his stuff, and in one of his older interviews, they asked him, like, Tony, where did everything start for you? And he said, with this book, The Faith, The Magic of
The Magic
Believing.
of Believing.
It's a very old book. I think it was published
it's
in
if I'm going, it's orange, like an orange cover. Yeah, like
it's a very old book. Like there weren't even cell phones back then. I'm talking like this book is really old, but the fundamental truths that are shared in that book basically still hold true to this day. And that guy mentioned where if you don't see your vision or your plan every day, like how are you going to subconsciously work on it? Because it's very easy to get going. And it's just the motion of getting through the day, same thing every day. But if you see that every single day, then subconsciously you think towards your goal, your plan.
Like that's what I did, Chris. Like if I said, like if you learned earlier, I said when I was living with my mom, my office size was my room size. So I actually threw my bed out. My mom thought I was crazy. And I took my bed, I threw it away. I actually gave it to someone. I said, take my bed. I don't need a bed because I need to turn the vibe. Because I believe in energy, frequency, vibration. My bedroom needs to vibrate at a certain frequency. Means there's no sleep energy in here. So I took out the bed and I put in it's actually a broken sleeper couch, right? So I turned it into like a couch. I had people come trade with me, right? And I think I had the springs come out on the side. Oh, I have video. Oh my gosh! Oh, I'm so sorry, people. If you see this, I love you guys. You know, end of the day, I couldn't put that inside, right? But in my room, I'll call it my office at that time. It was I used to sleep on that small thing, right? It used to hurt me. So the room right around was filled up with affirmations from the ceiling to every corner, 4 corners, right around. There was I couldn't even see my own wall. Everywhere was affirmations, visuals, and rules. Everywhere. So when I wake up, I see it immediately.
I just want to tell guys that you can write affirmations on your head as well if there's no action towards your affirmations because I've seen a lot of guys with affirmations and there's zero action, zero credibility, zero drive.
You know what is it? It's actually I'm writing in the book. This is actually one of the topics I've written. I'm writing in my book currently. As we speak right now, it's actually one of the topics I'm writing in my book. It says, affirmation without action is an illusion.
Yes, it's a dream. It's just a dream.
It's a dream.
You just dream about it.
That's the thing. It's like because I've seen that as well. Just like you said, I see that. I see because I share this with my friends and I like not calling this called friends. Like when you start. And you have those people you call friends, you know, I can learn in life. At least I learned at a young age. So like I learned that information without at a very young age because I saw, hey man, but why you saying I want. Even I am. But then in the day, you also play your part. Like I always play like, God always like people like, so why don't God actually make things happen? In the day, you must understand that he loves himself. So, and that's the thing, people don't understand that. Like, if you read I don't like to get too political, like, I'm a preacher, but I live by the Bible, I live by the Bible. And I was actually born Muslim. Funny, you can get my name, Shaquille. But not people like, oh, they like this shit. People like this shit, like, oh, what? But anyway, we have all choices in life, and it was respect as a human being to respect another person's religion to the point that, that's humanity. That's actually loving another person. And each religion speaks about love. So you need to love yourself enough to love the next person, and that is respect as well. So I've learned that what you just said, man, and I see that in my friends, people who I grew up with, who started training with me, who would say that, and then I'm putting action. I wouldn't recommend to do that 20 hours a day. I put 20 hours a day, sleep 4 hours. I used to do that whole 24-hour thing. Sit on the chart, and man, it's crazy. You go job analysis, you sit on the chart, you start seeing lines everywhere. Oh my gosh. You start seeing lines everywhere. Like
you lose sight. You lose sight.
So
definitely.
Crazy. Like I never knew that it's possible. I used to try to think, okay, and people used to learn as well. They said I used to compare myself. So okay, if someone works, he goes to a job, right? He works 40 hours a week and he gets to live this standard of living. If I can put 80 hours a week, I'm definitely going to up my living according to that person. And that's a mistake, because what happened is I started burning myself out.
Remember, trading is not a 9 to 5, guys. So we need to realize that you cannot have the same mentality as a guy that clocks in for 9 to 5, because irrespective if the 9 to 5 guy has been productive or not, he could be on Facebook the entire day, he's still going to get his paycheck. But you as a trader can sit in front of the charts 20 hours a day and still not get paid.
Make no money that day.
And the empirical studies have shown that for a human being to actively and very precisely be focused on a task, and let's say a very sophisticated task, maybe like trading as well, you can only really focus at 100% of your potential for 4 hours. So for 4 hours in the day, I'm talking about 100% focused, locked in for 4 hours. Does
this mean a certain time of day, or does it like morning time?
It basically means if you, let's say you're a surgeon, you're a doctor, you're a surgeon, technically for 4 hours, you can literally have laser-like focus where you won't get distracted, where your mind and you won't get fatigued. It's basically 4 hours in a day. It basically comes back to that thing of you can work for 16 hours, but how many of those hours were actually productive and focused?
And that's how I want to share to people. I want to share that to people, because
it comes exactly with the session. Like I trade both sessions, but I've got a very small window during London that if I don't get my setup, I'm out. If I miss the volume, if my setup wasn't there, I'll then wait. I'll shift over to New York. I've also seen in my trading journey and in my career, if you get a strong move during London, basically what will happen is pre-New York will basically pull back. That will be let's say it will be the continuation move. Price will move to more favorable positions for guys to re-enter the market.
I just thought like you trade more like the volume opens, or like the pre or the post, or like the open.
I said basically pre-London. So London, I do not trade pre-London. I basically wait for the open. I've got also a very strict set of rules where basically my entries are usually close to the open or either on the open the first 5 to 10 minutes after that. But for NYSE, I sit pre-NYSE up until the open, and after, I would say, around about an hour after the open, if I don't get my position, I'm done. I don't sit through the entire New York session.
Okay, I see.
Because what guys fail to realize is that exactly as you as a trader or me as a trader starting your session, it's exactly the same for the US guys, for the London guys. They come and sit at their desk. They grab a coffee, they start dabbling. That's why Mondays are slower, because you've had a weekend. You're looking at what happened on the weekend. Exactly the same with those guys, the analysts, the big bank traders. They're sitting there having their coffee, and they ease into it. And by Wednesday, Thursday, you've got the majority of the volume. Yeah, you've got the majority of the volume peaking Wednesday, Thursday, because now there's an information advantage. You've had some economic data come out. You've had some headline releases coming out. And now all of a sudden, the guys are starting to react on it. The market starts moving. And therefore, for me personally, I trade high volume times because I want to get into the move. I either want to be wrong or right very quickly. I'm not going to sit there through drawdown.
That's the personality I have as well. And I think and that's why people have personalities, because if you're going to understand through you, it's going to make trade much easier, because now you're like, okay, let's go just back to when I started trading, is that when I learned, I'm going to say, from the people I learned from, they were trading a certain style of trading. Like that's why we have scalping, everyone knows who trades. There's certain styles, scalping, day trading, and you're swinging, right? Now, when I learned a certain style, it was according to swing. So when I came, remember your brain only knows what it knows and doesn't know what it doesn't know. So I got exposed to trading, like trading forex. I was exposed to swing. So what happened is I was like, swinging. I had a difficult time to swing trades. My personality didn't fit with it. Like I didn't get this. I wasn't in my mojo. I wasn't getting understand it. I couldn't understand. Like it wasn't great for me. As soon as I started switching over to day trading, and I saw that my personality suited me. Every day these days we could swing a trade. Like it's when you have a day trade and it starts swinging.
I always say I'm also a swing trader, and what I usually do is my day trade potentially swings into a swing trade.
I will lock my profit. I will stop.
Yes,
I'll make sure
your bread and butter. I always call it your bread and butter. So let's say, for instance, I usually 10, 20, 30 pips, depending on how quickly the market moves. I'll lock in those pips, and then I'll leave, say, either 50 or 30% of my position, and you let it run.
Floating. Yeah, exact same thing. So when
takes the edge off.
As well.
Takes the edge off. You've already made some profit. Yes, and you've already paid yourself. So
I think that also is very important to pay yourself. So like I paid when I started to shift that focus to, like we say, let's just say it sounds very much like we trained similar. Is that I trade the open. I always sit before and I trade the open of New York session. I didn't sit like from 3 to 11 o'clock tonight. No, I'm sitting like just the first open of a volume because I'm a volume trader. So I won't stay volume trader, but every day, if I get a trade in and I can lock my profits and pay myself and then let the trade run, I will swing it. I'll swing it as long as it, and trade my stop loss in as it goes by according to structure. But and that takes us into the type of personality you have. You must understand it's against a lifestyle. Understand it through you. That way to make things easy, because now I think people don't know themselves, and it's crazy because you don't know who you are. Then you come into trading, you try to find yourself in trading, and that's the worst thing. Now you're playing with money as well. Try to find yourself out while trading and trading real money. You're gonna blow your money away,
guys. So we're gonna start getting into the close. I really enjoyed this podcast. I think it was very valuable in terms of psychology, and I think most of the traders actually need to go and delve a little bit deeper into the human psychology. Because ultimately, even the markets, though there's systems trading and algorithms trading, it's still humans that develop these systems, and it's still humans that actually oversee these systems. So the fear and the greed and the emotions and all of that will always remain the same. And if you start to tap into your own personality, then you will start seeing where your faults are in the market. And I really like this psychology, let's call it a psychology session, because it touched on very key psychological aspects of trading. We got to know Shaquille. I'm definitely going to have him on again, where we're going to go a little bit through. I'm actually thinking we're going to go a little bit through just a standard trading plan. We'll maybe share, I'll share some of my stuff that I've got in my trading plan. Shaquille, maybe we'll even help you guys do a trading plan. We'll do it while we on the charts, and then we can take it from there to basically give you guys some help in terms of establishing your trading plan, and then maybe just run through a little chart, what we do during our time frames, share some knowledge more on a technical basis, and potentially help you guys. But Shaquille, any closing remarks for the viewers? I'm definitely going to have you on next week. We'll have a technical session. We can book that. We can run through some charts. And any closing remarks?
Closing off. Firstly, I would say for the trading aspect, I'll say not to take it what it is and not to take it skill. Very important thing. Having a system, meaning coming to market with a systematic approach, where you have to remove emotions. When you don't know the systematic approach, we will dive into that. Like we just spoke about now the trading plan. That is a system. When you have a trading plan, you could just that between investment. Don't go into that, but have a systematic approach towards the market. Have a plan, execute it, according to what market it is, and according to feel to remove the ego and the emotions out of the trading, which makes it easy.
Thanks a lot, guys. You'll see in the comment section of this video or in the description, there will be links to Shaquille's Instagram page. Shaquille, you mostly on Instagram, eh? Or where can guys find you?
I'll say TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, you know. So
okay.
mainly, yeah, I would say the TikTok and Instagram, you know. Yeah. So I'll give you those things and you can give it out to them.
Sweet. Check out his YouTube page. Check out his Instagram. I believe you've got a free Telegram community as well.
Yeah, I teach people for free as well, man. That's the free Telegram group, you know, that I have. This country with reaching out 14,000 people, you know. So it's a good community. Very interactive, you know. So like yesterday, a Sunday market analysis live for free. You know,
Sweet.
jump on, you know, look over the charts and that, you know, because chart is for free, man. People have to be selfish with the chart. We're all looking at the same chart. You selfish with the chart. Why? Like, why are you selfish? Are you scared of someone's going to take you your thing?
Guys, there's a lot of information out there, and also, like we mentioned in this podcast, some people see the value of information. Some people can use that information to actually improve their life. It's not always about money. Give me money. It comes back to that philosophy of teach a man how to fish and he can feed himself for the rest of his life instead of giving him a fish. So there's a lot of free content. Shaquille, from what I can see, just purely based on his ethics and in the way that he conducts himself, and in terms of his personal life, he does not look like the person that is going to try and sell you a dream. I think it's genuine. Shaquille, I really appreciate it.
Reality is the reality, man.
And
it's a business, no? You must know the business. I think people must understand. Like I try to explain, you know, we speak over this. People must know it's a business, man. They must stop like trying to come in and make it rich, man. It's a business. We have profits and losses. Just take your losses and expense and manage it. You know, when you manage it properly, like a business entrepreneur, you see the business do well, no? Then no one's into like businesses. Like, so I can sell phones. I don't show my loss because but now as soon as like trading, you also lose. But now when it comes to trading, you feel sore. But if your business doesn't do well, it's a normal business. You don't get sore. Yeah. Why? Like, so it's ego, man. It's ego. Yeah, but Chris, thank you, man. I really appreciate the podcast. I really appreciate it. And may you guys be blessed. And to success, you know, doing the most as well. Doing the most. They're doing the most, especially the markets that pulled out. You guys, people was asking why real.
Yeah.
So guys pulled out as well, man. Shout out to the as well.
Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Also comment in the section if you've got any questions for Shaquille. Can potentially answer those if we get a chance on the next one. Next one with Shaquille will be a little bit more technical, guys. We're going to go through some technical aspects, and yeah, thanks, guys. Great episode.
Thanks,
and we will see you guys on the next one.